Welcome to the Health Zone. I'm Matt Ravato here, and today we are going to be talking about all kinds of different health benefits in the cognitive field. I'm here with Itai Shafat, one of the world leaders in cognitive research. Specifically, we're talking about an ingredient today that you have a very strong background in, commonly known as PS. I hope I don't mispronounce this. I think a lot of people do, but it's phosphatidylserine.
You're very close, Matt, very close. Phosphatidylserine, or PS for short. Very interesting ingredient to discuss, and I'm happy to be here, Matt.
Excellent, thank you. Well, before we get into that, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about PS and the numerous health benefits and research behind it. But give us a little bit about your background, Itai. Like where have you come from? You're a scientist. You're a world-renowned scientist. Tell us what got you up to this point.
So my background is actually in food technology. I began my life as a food technologist, and then I moved to medical research. In the last years, I've been dealing with lipids. We'll need to understand that phosphatidylserine is a kind of a lipid. I will explain about it later. And lipids are very important molecules in our body, which always fascinated me, and especially in relation to the cognitive benefit of them.
Okay, and I mean that's a good place to start. For a lot of people that are watching the show today, we're familiar or we've heard a lot of these terms, lipid molecules. Tell us a little bit about the interaction and how the significance of that with cognitive health.
So you need to remember, Matt, that our brains is made mainly by lipids. Actually, 60% of our brain, based on dry weight, is lipids. Lipids are very, very important for the structure of the brain and for the proper function of the brain. And when we are talking about a molecule like phosphatidylserine, let's call it PS for short. We are friends here, right? PS. So when we are talking about PS, we need to understand that PS has two very important traits that make it very, very important for the brain. First, PS in the brain, unlike in most other tissues, is highly concentrated, up to 5 times, 6 times more than any other tissue in the body. Why is PS so concentrated in the brain? That is a very interesting question to study. And the second one is that PS is a phospholipid, the building block of every cell that we have. And we have additional phospholipids like phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylethanol-amine. Terrible names. Anyway, PS is different than them because the chemical structure, I will not go into too much technical details, but it is electrically charged, and it is very unique by that, different than PC or PE, and this is what makes it so special.
So what exactly is PS? Let's take it back and say, where does it come from? We talked a little bit about why it's significant, but what is it?
Okay, so PS is one of the 4 building blocks of every cell membrane. So every cell membrane in our body, every cell membrane of animals, plants, it's there. So think about it. If you're eating an apple, basically you're getting some PS through that apple. Very, very low level, but it's there. So it's a building block. And interesting, as I said, it's different building block than the other building block of the membrane. And again, we need to remember that PS is naturally in our food chain. Actually, a human being will start getting PS from his food when he or she suckles from its mother, because human milk has PS in it. So PS is in our food chain as it is. It is part of our bodies, so it's naturally part of us.
So you bring up a good point about the food chain and our diets. There's a lot of research out right now that says the foods we eat, what we take in, just our daily diets, like it's depleted in a lot of the nutrients and the minerals compared to 50 years ago, even 20 years ago, which leads to it's important to help supplement our diets. Just the foods we eat alone, we might not be getting all of our proper nutritional values. What would you recommend? How do you recommend taking PS? Where do we, where can this be an effective supplement to our daily diets?
Very good point, Matt. Actually, if you think about what happened to the food industry in the last 30, 40 years or so, think about the enormity of it, like globalization, industrialization, urbanization. Everything went really, really big, changing a lot of what we eat in our daily lives. Because of that, many nutrients that we used to consume actually plummeted, and our consumption rates are very, very low, and PS is not out of that equation. If, like, say, 40 years ago, we used to consume on average around 250 milligram per day, unsupplemented amount through our regular diet, today this number is at about 130 milligrams, so about half of what we used to consume on average. If you think about specific populations, a lot of people are vegetarians or vegans, children who are not getting the right nutrients for the optimal development, consumption level are very, very, very low. So who needs PS? Everyone needs PS. Actually, children whose brains are still developing and their parents have a window of opportunity to help their kids reach their full potential. Students, people in the workplace who need to be more focused, more attentive to their product, and probably the main group are the elderly. The baby boomers are now elderly boomers, and cognitive goes down when we age. It's an age-associated cognitive decline, not a disease. It's naturally started at 50. You go back home, put the keys, do something else, and after 5 minutes, you don't remember where you put your keys. It doesn't really start at 50, right? Well, anyway, let's say that from 50 upwards, I would recommend for anyone to take PS as part of his daily nutrition.
So you bring up an excellent point there. I said some of the early studies on PS, or some of the early placement of PS among the market, was directed to seniors, directed to boomers, directed to the AARP club, but it's, we're starting to see a lot more research led by yourself and others, where there's a lot of benefits to start taking PS, or to supplement your PS diet at a younger age. I'm 40, and I find myself operating a lot more, being a lot more functional, a lot more efficient when I'm able to supplement my cognitive health with a product like with a product that has PS or similar ingredient or other health benefit, the cognitive benefit ingredients in it. I'm sorry, but anyways, like, talk a little bit about that too. Like, I want to know the benefits of PS. But not just like it's very easy to put it in that elderly category. Let's talk about it as a whole.
Okay. So as I said, PS is part of our brain. It is a natural part of our brain. And if you think about the human life cycle, we need to nourish our brains. We need to nourish our brains with the best nutrients that we can. And PS is definitely part of that. And again, brain is in a development stage with children and at the decline stage with seniors. For this, we want to help. For this, we want to prevent.
What's the old adage? If something's not growing, it's dying.
No,
like it's never stable. It's either growing or dying. So
true.
you're able to, and I apologize for interjecting there, but I like what you're saying about how you're able to nourish the brain, whether it's in that development stage or if it's in that decline stage.
That's true, and there's been many clinical studies of PS consumption, and one thing that is very unique about PS is not a cognitive booster. Boosters are ingredients that you take, increase your cognition for, let's say, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then go down. Caffeine is one of them. You drink your caffeine, after 20, 30 minutes, your attention goes higher, you're more focused. After 2 hours, you need another cup of coffee. PS is not like that. PS takes time to accumulate. The effect is not immediate, but really takes time. The more you take, the quicker it will take. But what is known is that once you reach a certain threshold, the effects of PS are for the long term. So even if you stop taking PS, let's say you took PS for 6 months and then went on a vacation of 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's okay, and didn't take your PS, no harm done. You loaded yourself with the PS, the effects are long term, at least 3 months after you stop taking the PS. So this is something very unique. Unique is a structural component. It is a natural part of our body. It's not coming in, coming out, but building itself into our bodies. And this is what's making PS so unique.
What is the recommendation on how to take PS?
How do you want to take PS? So everyone in his own poison, right? You want your pills, you can take it in pills. tablets, soft gels. We can deliver PS in any of them. Many people turn to gummies these days, and we have PS as neutral taste and mouthfeel. You can put it easily in gummies and get your gummies. I'm taking my PS2 gummies, I'll tell you that.
I'll have to try that.
You need to try that. Come to our booth and we'll let you taste our
thing
PS
with
gummies.
Gummies, though, it's just like I don't know when to stop. They're so
That's
good.
the problem. Well,
Yeah.
one thing that's good about PS is you cannot really overdose.
That's a great point.
It's going to be expensive if you take a lot, but you will not hurt yourself. And that is something that, especially if you're taking gummies, especially if you're giving gummies to children, many people think, what happens if my kid just gobbles everything up? Nothing will happen. PS is a very safe product up to very high levels. But again, pricey, so don't let your kid eat everything. We see more and more alternative delivery formats kicking in. You can see that people are starting to take kind of sachets full of nutrients to put in their yogurts, in their morning cereals. PS can go into that. We see more and more brands using health ingredients into real foods. So the functional food category is growing, and we need to pay attention also to these kind of solutions, because many people's, well, there is a sense of a pill fatigue. Most of our consumers still take their pills, of course, but it's a growing thing. And the traditional food industry has paid attention and are looking for this kind of solution for their products as well.
Excellent. So obviously, we know that PS has been clinically proven through numerous studies to improve memory, improve cognitive health. But there's also a host of other benefits that are tied to this, health benefits, mental benefits. Talk a little bit about this. Like, share us like the wide range of benefits that are associated with PS.
So, as I mentioned, PS has been clinically studied. Like, there's a lot of clinical studies, most of them related to the cognitive benefit of PS, other related to additional benefits as well. PS is first and foremost affecting our memory. So study after study after study, you see people taking PS and their memory is improving. And memory is a basic trait, right? When your memory is improving, also your learning is improved. That is something that is known. Other benefits that are related to mental state are improving through consumption of PS, but not only the mental state or the cognitive state. For example, when we do stressful thing, I'm sitting here with you, I'm highly stressed, my cortisol level goes up. Cortisol is the stress hormone.
I have that effect on people, don't I?
So basically what is known in the clinical studies is if you take PS, the stress level goes down. You're still stressed, but not as stressed. And this is, again, a clinically proven benefit.
So PS can help with my anxiety?
Anxiety is something different. Anxiety is actually defined as a disease. We don't deal with diseases, we deal with
Conditions.
Healthy people, and this is what we need to pay attention to. Another interesting aspect of PS consumption is, and I'm responsible for cognitive products, but I'm also responsible for sport nutrition. One of the things that's interesting to see that many of the cognitive products are also good for sport nutrition. Many people in sport want to be focused and more attentive and speed of decision making. PS was actually shown to have benefits for sport itself, things like endurance, recovery, muscle soreness. These are also proven in the clinical studies. So PS is a whole solution for body and mind for people from children through students, through athletes, through the seniors.
What so the sport, that's a very popular and a very concentrated area right now, athletic performance.
Yes.
It's just in today's day and age, today's athletes, whether you're at the high school level all the way up to the professional level, it's just like there's closer attention to how we treat and how we take care of our bodies. What sports have there been studies, or what sports have athletes taken PS with and have been shown to benefit with performance or benefit with recovery?
Okay, so most of the studies where PS was tested were done in aerobic training. So
Okay.
cyclists, runners, things like that. There is at least one study with PS which is done exclusively in female athletes. Another very interesting population that is gaining more and more attraction. And one of the studies with PS was done in that population, showing that the runners were running faster and their time to complete their task was shorter. This was shown in clinical study. Again, endurance shown in cyclists and in sport nutrition, and recovery of muscles in the model of soccer, basically, something called intermittent running. Interesting concept. So PS for sport, low dose for mental benefit for the people doing the sport. You need a higher dose of PS to show the sports
athletic
benefits
performance.
shown in the clinical studies, yes.
Sounds fascinating. And tell us a little bit more about how we can get PS. Tell us whether it's through you, how we can get in touch with you, or what supplements or where we can find PS.
Okay. So the company I work with currently, we're part of IFF. It's a new formed group called IFF Health. We produce a very high-end phosphatidylserine called Sharp PS. Sharp PS is actually one of the original PS in the market. It's a name to reckon with. Sharp PS can come from either soy or from sunflower. Some people prefer the soy version, which is more studied. Some people prefer the sunflower, which is soy-free, depending on your personal taste. Sharp PS is a high-quality product. Our facility of production is being audited by health organization, including the American FDA, which paid us a visit recently. Very good result, but also customers are coming to test the quality of our product, finding it to the highest level. You can definitely find your Sharp PS product in the market. Look for it.
Well, Itai, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Matt. It's been my pleasure to join in.
Matt Rabata, the Health Zone. Today we spoke with Itai Shafat. Like we said, one of the world leaders in the study and development of PS, and look for it in the markets.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Fantastic job.